Yeah. All right, they should be able to hear us. Believe you guys should be able to hear me. Can you hear us?
Yeah, somebody give a thumbs up or let us know. It says no sound.
That was from earlier. Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Yes? No? I can hear it on mine.
Yep.
Yep.
Alan says we can hear us. All right.
Okay, cool.
Oh, is this my chair?
That's your chair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. So this is a live stream. We didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. We just
didn't prep a lot.
We didn't prep a lot,
On the fly.
but we're gonna go through some stuff that we found in that front motor after hitting the sand pile in Louisville. I just want to thank everybody for following along with us. We've gained a little over 1,000 followers in the last, it's been a couple weeks now, but we gained the majority of them within like 3 days of that event. We're up to about 1.5 million views on our stuff. And if you want to grow the sport of pulling, that's the way that you can do it, by helping us pullers out, is by following us on Facebook and YouTube, and if pullers are on TikTok or Instagram, to go follow them. That helps them not only with their monetization of their account, but sponsors that really like the visibility and good engagement. So thank you for that. We're going to go through some of the comments. There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments, and some of them
Some pretty hilarious ones.
Some of them were really funny. Some
Keep
of
the
them,
comical ones coming. That's what we
Yeah,
like. We like
yeah.
the dry humor.
yeah,
We try to feed into that.
yeah. Some of them, yeah, they were pretty interesting. We had some people commenting. Like the one guy was one of the engineering managers for Gates belts, like a supercharger belt or a V belt or whatever. Just kind of interesting that a lot of worlds collide when you start talking about horsepower and fun stuff like that. We'll reveal the winner of the blower belt. So for everybody that commented, we're not going to put this back
Signed
on.
by me.
Yeah, yeah, it's authenticated. He did do that. That's not fake. So that's the blower belt, and then some of the sand, and we'll have you sign it to authenticate it in front of the people that are watching.
And Dan Crick had commented on there, and he showed a little picture of a little display of Sweet Pain, just like Sweet Pain was like this big, and a sled, and it was like an action. And so Dan is the next door neighbor to my folks on the farm that I grew up on, and he makes little toys and stuff like that. And Dan's been a super good friend. Dan and Sue been super good friends for many, many years. And he made that for my folks like a year or two ago, and I thought it was a great idea. So we're gonna put a little sand pile from Louisville right on the front of that.
Yeah.
I thought that was
And then I'm going to break the blower belt on Dan's toy and bend the front end. I'm just kidding.
put a little sand in the front.
Yeah, put a little sand in there. But I think we'll just go ahead and get right into it. Obviously, I said thank you to the followers, the new fans, our old fans. We'll have t-shirts at our trailer. So if you guys want to swing by, we'll be at Pullers Championship in the beginning of May. And then we start the Outlaw season in Ravenna in the beginning of June. If you want to see that schedule, go to outlawpulling.com. And there is a 2026. There's a printable version on there. You can go on there. And we're on the way right side of the column. It says mod at the top. and then it's whatever. There's a number in there how many hooks we have at each event. So you can print that off, put that in your work calendar, tell your boss that you're going to be gone about, I don't know, 14 times this summer to go watch us. But otherwise, Full Pull Live, obviously you can watch us. And then thank you to, of course, the Chrome Wrench, Richards Repair, Ty's Body Shop and Auto Glass in Harrisburg, and then our Channel Seed dealer, Thiessen Seeds in Rock Rapids. Those three, the fans, and the Outlaws, that's what makes this whole thing go. And we'll get right into it. There was a comment, there was a video we put out. I took a video of the hauler leaving Richards Repair, ironically, and just, heading to Louisville. I ended up flying there and flying home for family reasons, and Robert M. commented, "Good luck, put it in the sand." I wonder if he knew something. I don't know, Robert, but Robert, did you know something? If you're on this, did you know something?
If you have a crystal ball,
Yeah.
we would like to, why don't you reach out to
Yeah.
us?
How's
We
our
have some
season
other-
going to go?
We have some other things that we need to look into the crystal
Yeah.
ball for.
Do we need this engine dyno? We have questions. So,
We
all
need
right.
it. We need it.
Yeah. So comments, and I only picked out like 7 or 8 of them here. I saved the best one for last, so don't get offended if you're not the last comment. But first one, this is in regards to the picture I put out. It was from the front view of the front motor, and it looked like the blower, the belt was lifted up off the pulley, and you could see a big gap there. There's lots of comments about, is it out of time, and why is there a gap? It's the wrong type of belt, wrong type of pitch.
And I would like to add that, so that was, when we went into the pile, so I had shut the ignition switch off on the front engine. And we went back through the videos and looked at all that. It was right at 1 second before I hit the pile. And then that's gonna spin for a little bit yet until I let out of the throttle and it can go down on RPM, but it's not firing. So it's gonna slow down, the motor's gonna pull down a little bit. And then anyway, it was still spinning a little bit when I hit the pile. And so sand got in between the belt and the pulleys, both of them. Then we cleaned a whole bunch because the sand was like this thick on the front of the engine, and it was wet and it was packed in there so hard, I had to take my fingers and dig at it. So while you guys were watching everybody else run, we were outside trying to fix and get back together and just digging into this thing. So it was Dad, me, Ty, outside thrashing, and then there was 2 guys there with a mobile welder that were helping us.
Yeah.
And that sand was in there, and then we cleaned it a whole bunch, and then he took the picture. So there's still sand in there, you just can't see it on the picture.
That's right. And there were some comments that sniffed out some of my bullshit, just because because I kind of, I know, I smell bad, but the comments apparently could smell it. I kind of put some of those posts out, just kind of, not misleading people, but sort of, is this right, is this wrong? But, so one of the comments, relating to that picture, doesn't matter. I don't have a blower, but in relation to timing and the engine rotation, does it matter if it's, and I assume it doesn't matter if it's off a little bit. Like, it doesn't matter if your power steering pump or alternators jump the tooth. All that concerns me is how much sand actually went into the motor. So, to answer that, no, it does not matter. We could loosen the belt, spin the blower, put it back on. It does not matter. There's no, it does not matter.
I appreciate the people having a good time putting the comments on there about timing and the 5 horsepower, 50 horsepower, 100 horsepower, or whatever on the timing. But
yeah.
Yep. It was all just in good fun. So
we did add this sticker. That was an extra 5, roughly.
Right.
But the data logger didn't work, so we can't prove it. But maybe next time. Next comment. I'd be printing T-shirts with it in the sand. Should help cover costs. Phil C. Phil, that's an excellent idea. And when I read this, I was trying to think of, like a good kind of slogan to go with it. I came up with Sand Pile Kings just because of the amount of times we've been in the sand, but like over the years. But if you have a good idea, you should comment on it or message us or something. Yeah, that's a good idea.
We just ordered boxes and boxes
Yeah,
of
oh, yeah.
t-shirts, so it's gonna have to be at the next print.
Yeah, look, yeah. T-shirts are expensive, so we're not gonna keep a bunch on stock. So burn through them while they're here, and then maybe we'll be the Sand Pile Kings or whatever. Next one. Does that mean the motor was still rotating when it hit the sand pile?
I kind of addressed that already. It was, but like on its way down, and so whatever it took for time for it to. But the most important thing there is that the reason I do that is because you see a lot of people that will pull out of the throttle and either hurt something on the front end pulling out of it because the front end's still up in the air, and it's very difficult to set these front ends down smoothly. I've never been any good at it, although you don't get a lot of practice doing that. And then if you just stay wide open and flip that off, if you're close, you know, you lose obviously your 1/3 of your horsepower, but then you still have that control of letting out just at the last second. At the Western Farm Show, that sand pile was different, and this is stuff that we know afterwards that we never thought. I mean, I don't know if you would have studied sand piles and thought about all that stuff ahead of time. It feels a little bit cocky. Maybe it's a good thing to do for preparation, but the Western Farm Show sand piles had much more angle on them, where this one, in hindsight, was much more straight up and down. So on the Western Farm Show ones, we'd go up it, and you can look back at the 3 times that we went deep into that pile, and the front end kind of dug in, but it also went up it, and we never hurt anything on the front end on that deal. You just have a bunch of sand all around, we'd clean it out, and no big deal. Obviously this one we went just right through. It didn't go up at all.
Yep. So Joel on here, I don't know if this is gonna work. We're gonna try it. So you can see this. He shared this pretty cool picture. It's looks like a Hemi, blown Hemi, and it's in a drag boat, and the driver sits right in front of the blower pulley. You can see that big aluminum cover on there, and so that's what he's talking about. He commented on this, and he sent this in, and he also commented, and thought that was pretty cool. But his comment was, you need a cover over the belt, and this was an engine in a friend of mine's race boat. It was to protect him in case the belt broke, and noticed that the seat back, was right next to the blower. Then he went on to say some other stuff, but it got me thinking a little bit. On our tractor, the weight on our tractor is in some of the worst spots. Some of the heavy guys, they have all their weight up front. Really, the only thing they can move forward is transmission. I mean, really, they don't have as much of a weight issue as we do, getting it all up front. And
That's because we run the stack.
and that's because we have.
And they run the 2. That's why the 2 out front like this is so popular, and it's a good idea. And for whoever came up with that and started doing it, it's a good idea. They can run steel bell housings because if the weight's up front anyway. Our vacuum motors have titanium bell housings on them to be lighter. We're too stubborn. We don't want to change, and we love the look of it, and we get tons of comments.
Yeah.
Plus, the other thing that a lot of people don't know is we work on this thing all the time in the summer. In our trailer, it's our traveling shop, and so the 3 of us, 3 motors, you got 3 guys, and you can get to both sides, and the tools are right there, and we hammer stuff out big time.
We don't have to roll it out of the trailer.
We still have to go to work in the morning.
Yeah.
We already use too much PTO for it. So,
But I was thinking, we're always looking for ways to put weight up front. I was thinking we would build this big undercarriage, and then we would somehow get it up underneath, so that if we ever do this again, maybe we can just drop that skid plate essentially, and it just drains all the same. Yeah, it's like
my snowmobile skid
Yeah.
plate. Richard Rockefeller, he commented on that too. That,
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the other guy.
Yeah, out in New York. Hopefully he's watching. Hi, Richard. Chevy guy, but yeah, and the minis do that, and a lot of light supers do that, and things like that. That's a good idea. And we're building all kinds of stuff. We build stuff out of 1-inch plate up on the front end just because we need the weight up there. I mean, if everybody else is doing it out of 1/4 inch or something thin, and
Yep.
yeah.
So I thought that was a neat idea. I don't think it really would have stopped us. I think the real cover we needed, and maybe we got something in the works, maybe we don't, but we're thinking rain caps on top of
Oh,
the
yeah.
exhaust pipes.
High tech.
High tech, yes.
High tech.
Because when he shut the motor off, it would have just shut the rain caps. It
The
would have.
real problem. That was the real problem.
It was the real problem, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But I think that's a genius idea.
Yeah,
maybe
we're
make some billet ones. They'll be, or maybe stamped steel. I don't know. Depending on how much sponsor money comes in next year, we'll see.
Ooh, billet rain caps.
Billet rain caps.
We
Yeah.
could. We could do that.
That would be interesting. And then we'll put a drain, like a cock valve on the bottom of the pipes so that we can drain the sand out if any does get in.
We don't always have these good of ideas.
Blake M said, if you can't win the show, be the show.
Yeah.
I feel a little bad for Sullivan's because I feel we stole their thunder a little bit.
Yeah, but they got the paycheck.
But they got the paycheck, and they don't have any hurt motors that I'm aware of, and yeah,
We'll find out.
Right.
We run against them in.
yeah, because I think did they
Pullers
win?
Championship?
Did they win Pullers?
Oh yeah, because they won the unlimited,
They'll be-
the light unlimited and PPA. So
Oh yeah, yep,
yeah. So they're in.
yep. So
They're good. They're really good people.
yeah,
We love running against them. They're awesome. And 81-year-old Wayne, he calls my 74-year-old dad young man. So he was giving young man advice before the poll about how we had one weight on the back, and that wasn't going to work. But I put it up front. It was up front. We had everything on the nose.
and
that we could.
they Sullivan's Facebook page, they posted something about what has Papa Wayne advice, or something about his advice. Has he given you any advice, any polling advice over the years? There's one of them. So,
Yeah, they're awesome.
in regards to the exhaust pipe being full of sand, which again we're going to get to here real quick, James K said, take it to the car wash and vacuum it out.
We had the Milwaukee vac ready. It didn't work with this sand because the sand was so wet and it was so sticky. And I don't know if they have something else in there, but like I haven't been around sand casting sand very much, but that's exactly what it reminded me of. It was just stuck to everything. The leaf blower did almost nothing. It just took the kind of the fuzz off, if you will. That's all it did. And it was like, ugh, because we were outside trying to clean, and it was like, you gotta be kidding me. And then that's when I just started digging with my fingers, trying to get stuff off. And yeah, we were scrambling outside.
Yeah. All right, the best one, Dwayne A. I don't know who you are, but this was awesome.
Oh yeah.
So, and this is a family show, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Like Earnhardt used to say, you better tie some kerosene rags around your ankles so the fire ants don't crawl up and eat your candy ass. And he said that because Dad made a comment on the podcast about, guys backing out too soon and they should be in the pull-off. Well, they shouldn't be because they backed out of it. And Dwayne came with this awesome quote, and I'm going to use that. I'm going to steal that from you. So
That's going on the t-shirts?
maybe that'll be a full print. It'll look like the Declaration of Independence on the back of our t-shirts. But all right, what did we find? What did we find in the front motor?
Well, let's say this first.
Okay.
Well, I guess it goes right along with the what did we find. So we already talked about the blower belt, and actually the sand that's still in that blower, it's like embedded in there. But the so I had the throttle blades closed, and there is a little bit of sand in the blower now. We've got in the background over here. We've got the blower on the engine stand, and we've got an attachment for it so we can work on them on engine stands. And so I don't have it completely apart. I have everything off top and bottom of it so you can see it all. And so when we were in the mad scramble of things, trying to clean everything, and like I said with the leaf blower, we thought leaf blower and vacuum would take care of everything, and it wasn't working very well. And it was mad scramble, and Dad had the blower and the leaf blower, and I opened the butterflies as I was trying to clean, and we like intersected each other. So he was blowing, and I opened up the butterflies, and it like blew the fuzz off the top of the wet sand, if you will, and that went in the blower. So it's kind of hard to know what was in there and what wasn't, but there's not very much in there. We're still going to strip it, but there's very little in there, and there's like no evidence of scarring whatsoever. There's blower gel in them things, if you're not familiar, and so like anything that gets in there, that just like sticks to the blower gel, and that's where it's stuck to. There's no evidence of any scratching or scraping on the rotors or on the housing. Not saying a little bit didn't go through, because a little tiny bit had to go through, because there was a little bit in the intake, and I mean a little. And we also had to turn it for the blower belt by hand.
That's right. Yep. So we might have pushed some in or
Yep.
broke some free or
We
something.
did as minimal as we could, as we could get away with, and then and the blower came off. The blower was, we were 13 hours from Louisville. The blower was off Sunday night at 6:30, 7 o'clock already.
So the picture on Facebook of the one pipe that was full of sand, that was cylinder number 1. And that's the pipe that basically told us, no, we're not gonna run this. I mean, an exhaust pipe full of sand, high performance race engine, probably not a good idea. But Dad mentioned something to me. He said, well, why couldn't we have just, or you didn't say this, but why couldn't we have just taken the pipe off, drained the sand out, put it back on? What if there was a little bit of sand in the port we didn't get? Well, you had mentioned something about an exhaust port. Talk about that.
Okay, so first thing I want to say is that we did end up taking the headers off, and cylinder number 5, the exhaust valve was open, and I could see sand, a little bit of sand in the cylinder, and so I had no idea how much was in there. You can only see so much through the spark plug, or through the exhaust port and spark plug hole, and we could see just a little bit in there, and it's like, okay, we're not going to run. And then what he's talking about is what people don't realize, that, there's comments, and maybe they're joking and maybe they're not, but you'd think that all the exhaust is just going out, but with the really big camshafts that we run in these things, and anybody else that's running very large duration, they actually suck air in, and we've seen it firsthand. We had a deal one time, and I don't remember the whole situation, but at that time we were using orange high temp sealant, and we had put it all over the Zumi, stuck it on the head, and then we rolled the tractor outside, started it, and then for some reason we had to take it apart right away. Pulled it in, pulled it apart, and that orange silicone was sucked into the exhaust port up to the valve. And it was very, very obvious. I mean, it was
orange.
It was like, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, we took it outside, started it. I don't remember what the deal was, but it definitely sucked the sealant in. I suppose there was a little bit that squished and went to the inside or whatever. That was many years ago. So who knows how much that sand would have got. But there was sand in, I know there was sand in 7 of the 80 pipes. I don't know about, was there sand in number 7 pipe? You took that Zumi off when we were there.
They were,
And
there was,
crash.
it was like a lot, kind of a lot, not a whole lot, and then a little bit.
And 2468 on the right hand side, that had just a little bit in the pipes. I mean a little bit.
Well, it had a decent amount. I took it,
But
even
compared to the left side?
Oh, compared to the left side, yes. But decent amount. You couldn't see it from the top, but
it was down there, and then with the heads off, what's crazy is the left side is the side that you would have thought would have been a whole bunch in the engine, like in the combustion chamber, in the cylinders, and there was hardly any.
mm-hmm.
But the right side, and that's what I have here, these are like, oh, you can see this, oh, these are like rocks.
Baby rocks.
That's what was on the right side in the cylinders. Now we did our darndest to not turn the engine over at all, and we pumped the cylinders full of oil, and we figured oily sand was better than dry sand.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was very surprised to see these like rocks, and they're like, where did that come from? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, super glad we didn't run again because now it's just clean everything, put it back together, pull all the valves out, clean everything, and put it back together. And
So I mean,
for
we
the
did.
championship, restrip the blower, which is fine. Stripping the blowers, nothing wrong with that. And then I don't know if you want to anything more on the
Well,
engine?
we just, we'll strip the blower and clean that out. Clean all the parts up, intake, pull the heads
injection
apart,
hat.
injection hat. We'll fab up new tie rods for the front, and we'll build new wheelie bars in the back.
Yeah, the
Otherwise,
wheelie bars got smashed really bad, and that too, that was, if we'd had another week or two, we'd have had new wheelie bars on anyway. We took 125 pounds off the rear end of the tractor for the Louisville event, and then, we had all that weight on the front, and it still wasn't enough. Of course, that was a killer track, always is. And we probably won't run into that good of a track this summer, but it's always good. The scale can steal some from you. And so we think we have another 50 pounds back there that we can get removed yet before the Pullers Championship, and one of those things was the wheelie bars.
Yep.
Yeah, they're smashed bad. They're supposed to be this long, and they're about this long.
They're very
They're-
correct.
They're very junk.
Yep. Well, so the ultimate question, should we have run it again? I still, because we kicked it around and we thought about it, should we have not? My answer is no, we shouldn't have, especially after what we tore apart. What's your answer? Should we have run it again?
Not knowing what I know now.
No, knowing what we know now.
I thought about it for the drive home, and I was really kicking myself. I really wanted to come back and just see what we could do against those guys. I mean, we run against a lot of those guys on a regular basis, but we have tires that these tires work better than the last two sets that we had for our tractor, for sure. You kind of got to get those tires, the tire speed, the horsepower to match the tires.
Yep.
And these we're super excited about. The tires we do have, we just have too much. Our class just have too much power for them, so they'll take a lesser horsepower. They'll work on that. It's a combination thing. The whole deal is a combination thing.
Yep.
You gotta experiment through it.
Yep. So
We have no sand, we have no sand or rocks or anything, how close the pistons get to the heads or anything like that. It's zero. There's nothing there. We staved one, other than we've been cleaning sand ever since, because it just keeps showing up everywhere.
yeah, and it sticks to everything. And just when you think there's no oil on it, there is oil on it because the dirt is stuck to it, or the sand is stuck to it.
Are you gonna get to the frame rails? Is that a question? Or?
Oh, it's not a question, but we can talk about it.
There was a lot of questions
Oh,
about
yeah.
the frame rails. So I would just like to make the point that if you watch the tape real close, especially from straight on the side, I can't believe it did this, but I'm just gonna grab this piece of wood that's sitting here. So when I came up and hit the sand pile, before the sled ever hit me, the rear end of the tractor came off the ground, which I can't believe it did that. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. But it impacts, the rear end comes up, and then the sled hits, and it makes it go higher. And the reason it didn't go any higher is because the chain held it down. And we had a freshly painted hitch because the PPL has, and the Outlaws, their hitch colors are opposite. So your primary hitch is white and your other one is orange, and they're flip-flop between the associations. So we just painted it, and the way it scraped the paint off, you can totally see it, because it never scrapes the paint in those spots. So obviously I was going faster than what I thought I was. I told him that night, I'm like, never did I feel like, holy crap, I'm going way too fast. I was totally expecting the sled to nail us like the sled usually nails us. I was super busy in the cockpit. It it was less than a 9-second run. I was on the brakes big time 4 times. So 4 times in 8 seconds would have been, and I don't know how, I didn't look to see like how long I was on the brake each time. And I still drifted that way, but I think we were the straightest shot. We weren't straight down the track, but we were in a straight line. Once it first pulled me to the side, and you knew it was going to do that.
Yep.
But anyway, super busy, and then with the front end up in the air, and you know, it did the big wheelie, and it came down, then it did the big wheelie again, and if you look, when it's doing that big wheelie, and it's starting to come down, I take my hand off the steering wheel, and my helmet goes like this, because I looked to see where the toggle switch is for the front motor to make sure I was on the correct one, and I looked up, and I flipped, and I saw the sand pile, and I flipped it off, and you can see the pipes shoot a little bit of out of them, so you can see the front motor shut off, like power-wise, and then I let out of it. I was on the brake when that whole thing started. I let out of it and looked down like at the same time, and I flipped it off. It came down. You could see the pile. I let out of it, and then I hit the sand, and that stuff happened in less than 2 seconds. So there was like approximately, there was no more than a half a second between all of those things that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I never felt like, holy crap, I'm going to smoke this thing really hard.
Yeah.
Because again, I was expecting, normally the way the sleds work is like, they just really smack you right at the end.
Yep. And especially
And
indoor
that's what I was
short track,
expecting.
it always, it's gonna, I've never personally driven indoors, but the way it's been described to me is it feels like you're going super fast, just like normal, and then all of a sudden it hits you and it stops you in your tracks. So for all the comments that said, well, he should have backed out of it sooner, he should have,
Yeah,
pedaled
hindsight, I
it.
wish I would have now, but
And well,
come
yeah,
back
of
and run
course,
again
of
for the-
course, yes, but
for the money.
if you're expecting a sled setting to be good, and you're from past experience of running indoors, of the feeling of it going fast and then stopping, I
Yeah.
think he did exactly.
And going up the pile. That
And
was
then-
really
and
the
then-
biggest
yep,
thing,
yep.
was going up the pile, because we would just go up the pile, and
Yep.
done deal.
Yep.
So, what else
yep.
we got?
All right. So we're going to talk about the winner of the blower belt and the sand pile sand. So we're going to authenticate the sand pile sand from Sweet Pain, Mack Trailer, Winter Nationals, March 28, 2026. The driver of said vehicle. There we go. So that's 1 of 1. And the winner of that sand was Rhonda Odikoven.
Ooh, Brian and Rhonda.
So this sand is yours. Now, I did see a comment, Mark Ulmer's got some sand, but he doesn't have it signed in a container by the driver of the famous Craig Ulmer to put it in the sand pile.
Whatever.
And the blower belt goes to the same person. The highest bidder on both things was Rhonda. So,
Spending Brian's moldy money.
yeah, moldy money over there.
Brian's repair and Ollie's drive-in in
So-
Elk Point, South Dakota.
We got her signed. We did this earlier because the paint marker, we didn't really know how that was going to work. But if you can see it, Sweet Pain, signed 2026. If you're real desperate, you might be able to run it. It's probably stretched. I don't know. It's got between 1 run and 150 runs on it.
Whatever.
I don't know. But that's pretty cool. Hopefully we can do some more of that giveaway stuff. It's just cool stuff that people can put in their garage, or I don't know.
Yep.
Say they got
I'll
it.
enjoy it. Brian
Yeah.
and Rhonda will enjoy it.
So that's pretty much all I got.
Is there any questions? Did people ask questions?
Yeah, I was gonna get to that. We're hoping that Coors Light is watching this too. Looking for a little bit extra there, but if you got any questions, you can put them in the comments on the live stream. We've had a lot of people watching. I'm surprised you guys want to spend your time on Sunday night watching.
Getting closer to you, so I can see them.
Robert M said, "I'm sorry." There's nothing to be.
Why is he saying sorry?
Well, he said sorry because he said something about hopefully put it in the sand. Well,
Oh, no,
we
that
did.
was the whole goal.
So that was the goal. So thank you. Maybe in about, I don't know, whatever the Thursday is before we leave for Polaris Championship, maybe say, I don't know, hopefully you go 350 foot. Maybe that's good enough for first. I don't know. Russell said, which generation is the best driver? Grandpa,
I got
Dad, or Ty?
Told it right here.
Okay, unbiased answer.
I'm totally unbiased. It's me.
Let me see that.
Okay, so next question then. Expensive sand toy. Yeah. Any questions for us? Oh, that's me. That's you. The moisture and sand cause extra trouble.
Moisture in the sand cause extra trouble. Maybe
Well-
cleaning it out.
Well, it did kind of.
It did.
It did cause extra trouble because it was stuck in everything, like big time. So we were just expecting to be able to like blow it off with the leaf blower, like we. Basically, you want to suck up as much of it as you can because when you blow it, then it gets all over on everything else, and you could not do that at all. Did you pull pistons to see if any sand around the rings? There is a little bit of sand around the rings, but it's very minor, and that's the rocks that I was showing. Those were in the combustion chamber. Steve, good evening. Hey, Steve. Why is this not moving anymore? It's like stuck. Where's that though?
Mark Ulmer, if you need more Louisville sand, I have some. Also, I
He
can hook
he
you up.
won Louisville in I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna say the mid '90s.
I can. It's in a container from 1995.
Oh, there you go.
1995. So what
Awesome.
would that have been a?
That was Louisville. That was a fun
No,
show.
I get that, but was that in
Super
a
stock.
diesel suit?
Yeah, it was diesel super stock.
Were they together? Was it alcohol and diesel at that time?
I don't know in Louisville. I don't know. I mean, in 1995, it would have been out in the summertime. It would have been combined alcohol, but I don't know. I don't
Indoors.
remember that.
Richard said, "Why was the weight box so light?"
Oh, well, that's their choice. They try to set it up to get the winner into the sand pile, and I don't know. I didn't talk to Vaughn afterwards why he weighted it like he did. I know that there were some people that gave him suggestions, but we always get everybody gets a lot of suggestions. I'm not sure. I'm sure if he had to do it over again, he would. Well, obviously they weighted it down a couple times, so he did it differently. But yeah, misjudgment. I don't know. I'm not sure. Not quite sure on that.
And so Toby, that's him and Hoogeveen do the Hoogie's Garage.
Oh yeah, we've been on there a couple times.
We've been on there a couple
Awesome.
times. Go listen to their podcast.
Yeah,
It's very interesting.
they're good. It's fun.
Could you show us what it looks like now?
What are we looking at?
Well, you can see the tractor. Obviously,
The bent wheelie bars.
the bent wheelie bars.
We could go look at the bent wheelie bars.
We could, but I'm gonna save that for future posts. So
Okay.
we'll
Yeah,
save
we might be
that.
getting too long. I don't know.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Are you getting into the limited mini rod class? Are we? No, not right now.
Not in 26.
Although
We would love to, but so the whole plan was to be ready for Louisville, go run at that, come home, and basically do very little to the tractor and completely focus on the engine dyno. And so now, instead of working on the engine dyno, we're working on this, obviously.
Yep.
So our time has been changed, plus Ty's a new dad, and first time dad, first time grandpa.
Yep.
And little Bodie was just here right before the podcast, checking out things in the shop, making sure we were getting stuff done.
Yeah.
And he wasn't real happy, so he
And
mustn't have gotten enough done.
the only
Slate rod.
way we would have a limited mini rod is if Zach Jasper will donate us the
Whoa.
Thunderstruck, the original one. I don't want 2.0 or 3.0. I don't want those two. I want the first one, the one with the steel block. I want
Whoa.
that one. So, Zach, I know you guys want to build new ones all the time, so just drop that off at the shop. We'll pull the decals off, but anyway. Tyler said 96. He did not win 95. So with
Coleman Wheatley's Indiana Rascal. I'm not. I don't.
he was
I don't.
driving for somebody else.
Yeah, I don't completely remember the story. Maybe Mark can comment. Something about maybe Coleman got sick or something like that, and he thought of Mark to drive his tractor, which was a good choice, and obviously a good choice. He won it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, you didn't have all social media and everything then, you know, so you didn't get to see it 1,000 times.
Yeah. Cody said, was the motor completely toast and have to do a rebuild? No, we're just going to clean it apart. We're going to take it apart and clean it and put it back together.
Yeah, not what we call rebuild, but yank it, tear it down, clean everything, cam crank, stay in it.
Yep. 2 more questions about are we getting a Mini? Again, guys, enough sponsorship and more help around the shop. Anything is possible, so
Right.
put your money where your mouth is. But one more comment about the mini rod thing, because it crosses my mind a lot. Right now, the Outlaw mini rods are in location A, and the mods are in location B. There is no possible way that we can be running a mini rod and a mod at the same time. So even if we build one, we can't even make a single event. So it doesn't, for us right now, it doesn't make any sense. Now if scheduling,
Well, if we quit our jobs, we'd have the time.
well, we would have the time to build it, but then we physically can't run the mod at this time with the schedule and everything. So yeah, Kurt Stevens had one for sale. Yeah, I know, I saw that. I saw one back here. Okay, Ben, this is interesting. If you hadn't have broke the steering and the wheelie bars, could you have just run it on the back 2 engines?
So the steering was no big deal. I've got it. I had made a little spot in the tie rods, so that was the weak point, kind of like a shear bolt or a shear pin. And so if it was going to break, that's where it's going to break, and that's right where they broke. I had it that way for all the Western Farm shows too, and it never broke in those. But anyway, it was super fast to weld back together. It needs to get cut up and redone now because it was it was a 5-minute slop job, but it was completely fine. Just looks ugly. The wheelie bars, we're going to take a lot more. We started working on them and then decided to try to get rid of the sand up front. And I mean, we had a torch, a welder, and very big pry bars, and they were going to be ugly when we got done with them.
But I think if we would have
It
just
would have been all right. And there was some PPL officials there, and they were
helpful.
and we asked a couple questions of them, and you know, like I asked a really dumb one. I asked if we could just cut them off and not run them. I'm like, I love doing big wheelies anyway. I don't really like them on there anyhow.
Yeah.
And he didn't think that was a good idea.
No, he didn't.
I thought it was a great idea.
But it would have saved us a lot of time, and we needed a lot more time.
They're half cut off anyway because they're half broke off.
Yeah. Brian said, just wanted to say, love watching you guys, top-notch team.
Oh, thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Brian. We
Appreciate
appreciate that. Jim, I guess something we haven't considered, so thanks, Jim. Was there sand in the other 2 engines? No idea. I don't think so.
Well, yeah.
We can check it out. We can pull the pipes off and look in there and see, but I don't
Well,
think
we
so.
serviced the engines, but didn't do any. I mean, it didn't do any real deep looking on the sand. We never saw any signs that there was sand on those 2. And could we have run 2? We definitely could have come back and run 2 to answer the first question there, after fixing the wheelie bars and stuff like that. But you know, we'd have got dead last. You're at 2/3 the horsepower, and you're in a gear ratio that you're trying to, you know, spin the tires at something where all 3 engines, the horsepower of all 3. So it would have been ugly. It would have been ugly, boring, waste of time for the fans and for us, and so we didn't.
Yep.
I've been doing the really big wheelies in the last couple of years, but we had a very umpteen years of doing that, And Mark's a photographer out at Houston Speedway and Outlaws and other tractor pulling. And so we got to talking one night about putting hand hoist decal right on the oil pan of the front engine, so when we're doing a monster wheelie and he takes pictures, then he's got his advertisement there.
Yep.
So we actually did it. And we did it, and we went to Whitewright, Texas, and so we hadn't seen Mark yet. He wasn't in Whitewright, and I crashed the front end. Speaking of which, I tried setting it down on that one.
Oh,
we had
that's right.
we had a new set of tires on, and a lot of times with a new set of tires, particularly starts showing up at the higher horsepower levels, you gotta get them all figured out for going straight, because a lot of times one is a little bit better than the other one. And first run, and I went whoop, right out of bounds, and I tried to set the front end down easy, and I didn't, and it broke the front motor mount, which pierced the oil pan on the front motor. And so we yanked the pan off, and we had new motor mounts in the trailer. We did have another oil pan in the trailer, but we decided to pull the pan off, and found a local guy that let me use his TIG welder, and I tigged it all back together, and in the process I burned Mark's decal all off, and we never got the picture. So
Yeah.
there we go.
So, yeah, we'll clean it off for you, and we'll get a sticker from you. I'm sure we'll put it on the wheelie bars another time. But my beer is empty, so this is a one beer show. So thanks for watching,
I didn't even get
and maybe we'll do another one, maybe we won't. But thanks for watching, and you'll see this video later. But
All right, thank
Bye.
you much.
Thanks for following us.